Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Barry Walton?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Alton,
Present.
Commissioner Creighton, Commissioner Acevedo, Commissioner Reckner, Commissioner Brooks,
Present.
Commissioner Leonetti,
Present.
Chairman Morelli.
Present.
Commissioners Creighton, Acevedo, and Reckner are absent.
Okay, so folks, I'd like to just make an announcement before we get started, because there might be some of you who might be interested in the case. There are two cases that are being held over this evening, and they are case numbers 3256. That was 93 Ohio Avenue.
No, 35 Arizona.
We will not vote on that this evening.
That was
We'll be voted
35
on
Arizona.
at the next meeting, and also, I'm sorry?
35 Arizona.
3256 was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 35
Yeah, and
Arizona,
then
though.
2959, yeah.
No.
And then case number 2959, which is on Arizona, 35 Arizona, I believe,
No,
correct?
2979, which is 250 East Park,
Okay, that's right. I'm
and
sorry
then
about
3256, which is 35 Arizona.
that. Okay. That's right, okay, 35 Arizona. The applicant was 93
Right,
Ohio on that case. And we have two cases that will be adjourned and are not being heard this month. They are on the calendar for the November meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That is case number 3261, which is 128 Atlantic, and 3262, which is 355 East Beach. So if anyone's here for those two cases, either of those two, they won't be heard until November. All right?
Case number 3254, application of Christopher and Cindy Princiata of 514 West Fulton Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.3C front yard, 9-105.3D side yard, for a new front and rear yard decks at 514 West Fulton Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 20, Lot 135, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Who will introduce a motion on this application?
Make a motion to grant as per amended plans.
Commissioner Leonetti has introduced a motion to grant per amended plans. Who will second?
I will second that motion.
Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant per amended plans.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant amended plan.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant per amended plans.
Chairman Morelli.
Grant as per the amended plan.
This application has been granted per the amended plans. Case number... Hold on. Is that all we have? Okay. That was it for open for voting, right?
32,
Yeah, because the other one
49.
was being held. Okay. Case number 3249, application of Stephen Carroll of 93 New Hampshire Street, Long Beach, New York, for a modification to variance number 3249 to eliminate the second parking space and to reduce the curb cut at 93 New Hampshire Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 230, Lot 33, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, Mr. Bella. Just your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. George Bella from GWB Architect, 120 West Park Avenue, Suite 304, Long Beach, New York, 11561.
Good evening, Mr. Bella. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. So we're here tonight basically for a modification to a variance that was approved with conditions in the August zoning board meeting. At that time, we were asking for two separate variances. One was for front yard setback for a first floor deck. The second one was for a waiver of off-street parking design standards. That was in order to be able to fit two cars side by side. That was approved with conditions, and the condition being that the front door be relocated to the south side of the building. Subsequent to that meeting, I met with the owner, and he does not want to have the double wide driveway. He is really only looking to have a slightly wider curb cut, just because he is on the non-parking side of the street of a thin street in the West End. So he's asking for a 14-foot curb cut so he could kind of start turning that wheel prior to being completely out into the street. So just to be clear, we're not looking for a side-by-side extra parking spot. There's the one legal off-street parking spot that we have in the way of a garage that's on the north side of the property, and we're really only looking to make that curb cut 14-foot wide. So again, I guess really that's a long way of saying we're eliminating the portion of the previous variance that asked for relief for off-street parking design standards.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Any members of the board? Anyone want to speak in favor or against? All right, sounds like a less of an impact. I would move to grant.
A second.
I'll second the motion.
Case number 3249, application of Stephen Carroll of 93 New Hampshire Street, Long Beach, New York, for a modification to variance number 3249 to eliminate the second parking space and to reduce the curb cut at 93 New Hampshire Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 230, Lot 33, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Chairman Morelli has introduced a motion to grant the application. Chairman Commissioner Alton has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application for modification has been granted.
Thank you very much.
Good evening,
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Bello. You're welcome.
Case number 3255, application of Stephen Kaplan of 137 Greenway Road, Lido Beach, New York, for a variance from the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the City of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.2C front yard for a new front yard stairs at 320 Pacific Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 215, Lot 67, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, Mr. Kaplan.
Mr. Albert, Vincent Albert, 106 New Hampshire Avenue, Massapequa. I'm representing Joe Bello Architects.
Okay.
Okay, so good evening. We're looking to get relief from the front yard setback code of approximately 4 feet for an exterior staircase that would lead from grade to an existing roof over deck that's on a 1-story garage. Adjacent to that garage roof deck is the main living space of the house. The stairs would serve as the second means of egress, as there is no other means of egress from that living space other than the interior staircase. It's set back far enough where we feel that it's not obstructing any line of vehicle sight, and due to the nature of it being a staircase and a railing, it doesn't alter what the exterior of the building looks like and isn't an eyesore to the community. And that's really all that we have based on it. So it's a staircase in the front yard setback that leads to an existing roof deck, serves as a second means of egress to that roof deck, and also from the interior main living space.
Okay. So just to be clear, sir, basically this staircase is going to be on the side of the house and is going to the property line. Am I correct?
No.
No,
Okay.
no, it's 5 feet from the side property line, and it's 15.8 from East Park Avenue's property line.
I don't have.
It's a corner property? Is that
Correct.
Is that why it's
Okay.
called the front yard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And nothing is being changed to that over garage deck that you have, right?
No, not at all.
None of the railings or anything like that? I'm
No.
assuming the railing's compliant.
The railings are code compliant. They might paint them, but other than that, they're, your standard 36-inch railings. And then there's also a portion of the roof from Pacific that comes up and meets that 3-foot requirement as well.
Okay.
You said the main living area of the house is,
Upstairs.
right, so this doesn't loan itself to making a separate entrance for an apartment, or?
No.
What's the layout inside? If you can give us a little more information on that.
When you walk upstairs into that space, that's the living room there. There's a bathroom and 2 bedrooms upstairs as well.
And the kitchen is on what floor?
There's a kitchen on that floor on the second floor.
And
There
not-
is no kitchen on the first?
It's a legal 2-family.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see the 2 meters in the back, actually, in the photograph. Okay. I just, I don't know if it's just the quality of the photograph, but that railing, what kind of condition is that railing in? Because I don't know if it's the where the photograph was printed.
It's the paint on it,
Yeah,
really.
okay.
It's pretty, but I mean, I've been up there. It's solid, but
Are they
that's something.
planning to do anything to that, or, well, they have to open it up, right? I mean, they're going to have
Well, they're going to open it up, they're going to have to put new posting in, and we're going to check the condition of the wood. If anything rots or anything during that, we're going to replace it with a code-compliant railing, but we're going to keep in the same nature of it.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Any members of the audience? No. Anyone want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to grant.
All right, I'll second it.
Case number 3255, application of Stephen Kaplan of 137 Greenway Road, Lido Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York, 9-105.2C front yard, for new front yard stairs at 320 Pacific Boulevard, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 215, Lot 67, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Leonetti has introduced a motion to grant the application. Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome, sir. Good night.
Case number 3263, application of Hugh Bontrager of 260 West Pine Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.2C front yard, for a new front yard deck at 260 West Pine Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 54, Lot 142, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Do we want to note on the record that Commissioner Creighton is joined?
Yes,
the
Commissioner
meeting?
Sorry for being
Creighton.
late.
That's okay. Commissioner Creighton is present. Can you share? Okay.
Okay, so, Mr. Bontrager?
Hi, yeah,
Okay,
Hugh,
just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Hugh Bontrager, 260 West Pine Street, Long Beach.
Okay. So, Mr. Bontrager, it appears here that what you're doing on your existing home is basically adding a deck that is going to give us a side projection with the stairs and is going to be going into the yard space, leaving us about 14 feet instead of the required 20, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the necessity of the stair?
There's no stairs on it, it'll just be a,
Oh, so that's just part of the deck? In other
yeah,
words, what
yeah,
I see
that'll all just be
right there,
upper
that's not,
deck, correct.
that's not
yeah.
going down to a stair, okay. So the deck is wrapping around, and what is on that part of the house where the deck wraps around?
Nothing right now, there'll just be more space to extend it out there.
Okay, so then basically, the deck would be projecting how far out from the house? The main deck?
From the front of the house, 12 feet.
Okay. And what about on the side?
4 feet on the side.
Okay. And it appears that on the
I'm sorry,
side...
5 feet on the side.
Okay, but it appears that on the side, you still have enough of a setback because it did not trigger a variance.
Right.
Are you making any other changes to the layout of the house, internally, externally?
No, no, sir.
Okay. Do any members of the board have any questions? Does anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against? I'll move to grant.
I'll second.
Case number 3263, application of Hugh Bontrager of 260 West Pine Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance from the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.2C front yard, for a new front yard deck at 260 West Pine Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 54, Lot 142, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Morelli has introduced the motion to grant the application. Commissioner Leonetti has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Creighton?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Okay, great, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Dan, you're going to recuse yourself from the next one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Case number 3264, application of Shannon Toomey and Austin Switzer of 335 West Olive Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2G off-street parking, for new off-street parking in the front yard at 335 West Olive Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 48, Lot 58, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Just for the record, I have to recuse myself from this because it's on my block. Thank you.
Okay, so let the record note that Commissioner Creighton has left the dais. Okay, so you are the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, give us your name and address for the record, please.
Shannon Toomey, 335 West Olive Street.
Okay. And just tell us why you're here, why you need the parking space. what exists there at present?
Sure. So we've been restoring an old colonial. We added a side porch to the home that now blocks the existing driveway access to the garage. So the space that's currently there is no longer considered a parking spot. It's considered front yard parking. The plans that have been approved by the city approve the driveway moving west and widening, but it still is front yard parking, so we need a variance for it.
Okay, so now basically, you're going to be closing out that curb cut that exists already, to be
Yes. Yep.
accurate. The dimension of the new driveway that would go into that lot is approximately, or I should say the curb cut, approximately is what you have now?
No, the new curb cut will be wider.
Okay, by how much?
Can I just, I'm sorry, just for 1 second. I just got a text message from the stenographer. Can you just take your mask down and talk into the mic? Thanks, Shannon.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not used to being mask-free. It's been a long time. The dimensions of the driveway are... 24 feet deep will be the driveway, and the curb cut will be 18 or 19 feet wide.
Okay. What, do you have any idea what the existing curb cut was?
Is it 10? It's 10, yeah, it's at least 10.
Okay. And for the record, there's no parking right in front of that area, or is there now?
There's one spot,
Okay.
technically, which would swap. So
Okay.
the one spot there, when we close the curb cut, that spot would slide
Okay.
technically east.
Okay. I just wanted to get that on the record. Do any members of the board have any questions?
No?
Anyone in the audience want to hear or speak for or against? I'll move to grant.
Yeah. I'll second the motion.
Case number 3264, application of Shannon Toomey and Austin Switzer of 335 West Olive Street, Long Beach, New York, for a variance from the following section of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-113.2G off-street parking. For new off-street parking in the front yard at 335 West Olive Street, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 48, Lot 58, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Chairman Morelli has introduced a motion to grant the application. Commissioner Alton has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Nick.
Appreciate it.
Case number 3265, application of Beach Friends Sensory Club LLC and Timothy Kanai of 372 East Bay Drive, Long Beach, New York, for a variance in the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.2A use, 9-112.18A off-street parking, for a certificate of occupancy for a child learning center at 355 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 139, lots 24 through 25, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening,
Mr. Kalnitsky. How are
members
you?
of the zoning board, Mr. Chairman, council. Pleasure to be here tonight. I'm here representing Beach Friends Sensory Club, which is, on first blush, when you look at the denial letter, it looks quite scary because you see in there use. But once I get into the history of the property, it'll be understood that this is simply modifying an existing commercial use. The house was a two-family home, and some time ago, a doctor lived in it, Dr. Levinson, and he obtained a variance to have a medical office on the first floor. So it has been used commercially for quite some time. On that block, there is a commercial strip immediately adjacent to the house, which has Abuff's Paints, Unsound Surf Store, and a Bikram Yoga Studio. Further down the block, there's a medical office plaza with several medical offices in it, and of course, the board is familiar from Long Beach Boulevard to Monroe. There is also a slew of commercial strips. So it really wasn't out of character with the neighborhood, and I thought that the zoning board saw a benefit by giving Dr. Levinson that variance. What Mr. Kanhai, who's sitting right here, wants to do is open up a part-time daycare in that facility. There is some special laws governing daycares in New York State. Basically, the legislature has evinced a strong policy favoring the establishment of certain daycares, specifically in-home, in-residence daycares. I provided counsel with the memo earlier. I'm not sure if he distributed to you, but very briefly, that state law supersedes any type of local zoning regulation as far as use is concerned. Not only does it apply to governments, a condo board, in the condo unit, somebody wanted to have a daycare in there and split it as their residence, and the condo board said they couldn't do it. And then the court still said that, you have to let them do it, even though you're not a government agency, because of this strong public policy favoring daycares, recognizing that there is a great shortage of childcare. Just recently, there was a case in Suffolk County where an individual purchased a one-family home, didn't live in it, put a tenant on the second floor, and put one of the daycares on the first floor. And the court still said, nope, he's allowed to do that. It says if it's a residence, you can do it. Now, the one difference here is Mr. Canhigh is proposing a part-time daycare. That state law only applies to daycares where you watch children for 3 hours or more. So in that respect, we still need local zoning approval, but what he's offering to do is something far less impactful than having a full-time daycare. Turning to the parking issues, as you know, pretty much every commercial storefront on Park Avenue gets an off-street parking variance, but the plan that Mr. Canhigh will be instituting is to have the employees park in the driveway, which is located on the eastern portion of the property, and the drop-off will be in front of the house, which has a 60-foot frontage. It's a lot and a half, so there's easily enough room for 3 or 4 cars. I've driven by it personally several times in the morning hours when people would be doing the drop-off, and there's ample parking on the street. And if there isn't, it's right by the corner of Franklin and Park. There's plenty of median parking, which is what the commercial strips utilize there right now. So with that being said, I'll just give you a little bit of background on Mr. Canhigh and who will be operating the facility, and then I'd like to open it up for any questions from the board if you have any. Mr. Canhigh is a military veteran. I believe he was with the U.S. Army for over a decade. He did a tour of duty in Iraq. He met his wife. He also became acquainted with Long Beach when he came as a soldier after Superstorm Sandy. He was helping the city do its storm recovery. They eventually moved down to Long Beach. His wife has a long history in child care. She has a bachelor's degree in applied psychology and human relations, a master's degree in general education B2, childhood education from ages 1 to 6. She has a postmaster's in the same thing, over 20 years of experience, and runs 2 other daycares. They have these group home daycares in Long Beach. I believe you have one in Long Beach and one in Island Park, correct? Okay.
Greg, just have your client come up if you want that on the record.
Yeah, if you want it on the record, just give them your name and
address.
address.
Hi, my name is Timothy Kanai. I live in 372 East Bay Drive in Long Beach, New York. So we have an in-home daycare at 372 East Bay Drive, a center, and 243 Long Beach Road. And right now I'm operating on top of 28 West Park.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So the family moved down to Long Beach. They're doing great. They have no violations from OCFS in their established facilities, spotless record. And if you go on Google and look at their reviews, people are very happy with the service that they provide, and it's really a very necessary service. And the existing business, as he said, currently exists right here. His lease is up. So if possible, I'd respectfully request that the board, if it could, render a decision today. With that being said, if you all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Just for the record, Counsel, Ms. Kalinsky did supply the memorandum. The memorandum that you gave to me was distributed to the board, and all the laws were also verified. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I have no questions. Any members of the board have any questions?
Greg, I just have one. Is there a lot of work that has to be done to the home to make it ready for this sort of commercial business where you're taking care of kids in a home usage?
The renovations have actually already been underway. I'm not sure what stage of the renovations you're at. Mr. Canhigh can tell you a little bit more, but it's going to be 5 classrooms in there. There's 5 bedrooms. They have a bathroom, and the concept that he has is the classes will rotate throughout the first floor of the premises. He also has a massive yard, side yard specifically, because it's a lot and a half. So the house is on one lot. The half yard is complete open space, and he's working on fencing that off and installing play equipment and so forth.
I'm assuming you need to meet certain regulations as far as like sprinklers, et cetera, for like that sort of usage, right?
Mr. Canhigh?
All right, so The only renovations at the moment is we installed a fence, painting, replaced the flooring because they had carpeting flooring, and it smelled really bad, so we replaced the whole thing, and some patchwork and cleaning the place. As far as fire safety, the same rules apply to my location, 28 West Park, we have the carbon monoxide detectors and the fire extinguishers throughout the facility.
Is there a license involved for the business?
Believe it or not, there is no license involved in this specific circumstance because the type of daycare, the part-time daycare that Mr. Canhai is trying to do is not regulated by that law. Why, I don't know, but what I can represent to you on the record is I've spoken to Mr. Canhai and his wife, and she intends on applying the same rigorous standards that OCFS applies in their existing facilities to that one. They take their obligations very seriously, and they will continue to do that. As far as the fire safety goes, with these in-home daycares, generally speaking, what the Social Services Law Section 390 provides is the standards are the same for any residence as they are for this daycare.
What are the hours of the part-time daycare?
The hours of operation are going to be approximately from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There's going to be 2 classes, 3 hours each, so one will start at 9 and one will start at 10, so they will be staggered.
That's Monday to Friday, Greg? I'm sorry. Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday only.
Any other questions? Any members of the audience would like to be heard? Come up, please. You can come up to the podium and give us your name and address, please, for or against, and, your reason.
My name is Mary Bond. I live behind at 350 East Chester Street.
Okay.
And I'm not sure which I am. I'm worried about the parking. I didn't want a parking lot in the backyard up against my backyard, feeling that would reduce my property value. I don't mind, I understand drop-off. I want safety for children too. My other problem is I'm a novice. I don't know legally. The 2 businesses next door, the surf shop and the yoga, neither has off-street parking. I don't know if this will set a precedence for them to then fight so they can have off-street parking. I don't know how that works, if that's...
I think, if I'm not mistaken, one
Only
of the
the paint store
businesses
has off-street
came for off-street parking some years back, I think the paint store, and they wanted to expand the lot that they had in the back.
Correct.
And there were people opposed to it for various reasons, lighting, et cetera, because they were going to be open later. And then there were questions about even the Bikram people wanted to use it after hours and stuff. And I remember I was on the board and we denied that.
Okay. That's what I wasn't sure if this
So I
would set
think
a
that
precedent
issue's
for them.
already been put to
Everybody would
rest.
say, whoa, now we have it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a daytime thing, and I know that, Vic Levinson was the chiropractor there for many years, and I know he generated a lot of traffic, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think he sold that practice to Javasi, and Javasi owned that practice, if I'm not mistaken, for a number of years, and she also had a very active practice. So that practice, as far as I am concerned, was always commercial of sorts. And it was not the type of practice, and I believe he had Saturday hours too. So it wasn't really the type of practice that, didn't generate a lot of traffic because he was a popular chiropractor and he was there for many, many years. So, in light of the fact that there is a state ruling that allows these facilities, and you heard Mr. Kalnitsky on the record, that if they were doing this full-time, which would be even more of an intrusion on the people of the local area, it could be conceived as an intrusion, they wouldn't even need a variance.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this would force the applicant to come for a full-time, which would make it worse.
I'm guessing it's mostly drop-off.
Yeah, of the drop-off. So I would
Most of these
think that
kids
this
don't
is
drive.
probably something that would be more palatable to the people behind. But in terms of, we're not making or minimizing your concerns.
Oh, no, I just want to be...
Yeah.
My
But
only
I
concern-
would say that if you were concerned, and I want to be, I want to basically listen to your concerns and answer them as best I can. If you're asking me, is this going to start some sort of request for precedence, let's say, as is, I highly would doubt that, because one, we already turned down an application for something which I think would have been far more intrusive because there would have been a lot of traffic, truck-type traffic, loading up paints and all kinds of stuff. And perhaps if the, yoga people thought that they could use it at night if the paint store was closed, they were talking about at that time, they were going to install lighting in the back and, people were concerned about the light shining, on the adjacent homes going up Lincoln. So we did not approve that.
Oh, yeah, no, my main reason for coming here was to
Okay,
make sure
no.
there wasn't a parking lot in the back of the property.
Because I
That's all I
I think, Mr. Kalinowski
Yeah,
answered,
and I
the
think
questions that we had.
Mr. Chairman.
I just wanted
if
to
I may,
confirm that. Yep.
I think I could address your concerns. First of all, you see Mr. Canhigh sitting here. Him and his wife are lovely people. If there's any issues, you should definitely tell them, and I'm sure they'll address your concerns. But your concern, as I hear it, is that you don't want the cars going back up to the edge of your backyard. The off-street parking variance means you don't have enough space back there for cars to park. You should park, it's getting permission to park on the street. It's the exact opposite of what your concern is. The existing driveway is the existing driveway, and I believe Mr. Canhigh wants to preserve as much backyard space as possible for the children to play, which would hopefully be a lot better for you than cars.
Yes, that's all I was worried.
No, I hope he answered that, and I hope, okay?
I appreciate it.
No, listen, that's why we're here. Is there anyone else? Someone else wanted to speak? No? All right, does someone want to make a motion on this application?
Make a motion to grant.
All right, and I'll second it.
Case number 3265, application of Beach Friends Sensory Club and Timothy Kanaya, 372 East Bay Drive, Long Beach, New York, for a variance from the following sections of the zoning code of ordinances of the city of Long Beach, New York. 9-105.2A use, 9-112.18A off-street parking, for a certificate of occupancy for a child learning center at 355 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 139, lots 24 through 25, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Commissioner Leonetti has introduced a motion to grant the application. Chairman Morelli has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Creighton?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application has been granted. We just have one extension.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Case number 3134, application of PSG Construction Incorporated, care of Paul Grossman of 54 Regent Drive, Lido Beach, New York, and LG Long Beach Realty LLC of 180 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a 6-month extension to the variance granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals for construction of a new 2-story commercial building at 180 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 110, lots 32 through 35, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Who will introduce a motion on this application?
Make a motion to grant.
Who will second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Leonetti has introduced a motion to grant. Commissioner Brooks has seconded the motion. Commissioner Alton?
Grant.
Commissioner Creighton?
Grant.
Commissioner Brooks?
Grant.
Commissioner Leonetti?
Grant.
Chairman Morelli?
Grant.
This application for an extension has been granted. Done.
All right.
Well done.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you all for coming out this evening. This meeting of October 28, 2021 is now closed.
Okay, let me turn the camera off.
And I saw it run to someone else.
Listen, I'm
Stops
gonna
by,
dock
drops a
him.
couple
I'm
dates in.
docking him.
Stops by, drops
When I put in the hours to the payroll.